So if you've seen the last few videos that I've put out, I've been talking in very vague scientific terms about this kind of like frou-frou concept around AI being a liquid and being kind of uh, influenced and primarily like involved with fluid dynamics. And it's in scientific terms, I can break it down in multiple ways, but it doesn't make a lot of sense in terms of like business dynamics. What does that actually like equate to for a business, right? As a business, I've dealt with businesses dealing with AI. The primary question that businesses and the primary focus of businesses when it comes to AI overall, in my opinion, is explainable AI. AI or businesses want AI that they can trace forward and backward, right? And that's like the big like dragon within AI is how exactly do we get there? And then so this research paper is put out by the Zillow group and University of Notre Dame, and it's titled "From Abstract to Actionable: Pairwise Shapley Values for Explainable AI." I'm getting no sort of funding whatsoever from Zillow. I've never been paid by Zillow. I've paid Zillow money, but never the other way around. And then so I'm going to improve your framework quite significantly. I think it's a beautiful framework. Thank you, Zillow, for putting this out. And then I'm going to take it to the next level here for you. So essentially, within this and their research paper, they propose a method for explainable AI. And if you're not familiar overall with explainable AI and the concept and the problems with it, essentially, with AI overall, there's two aspects to it when it comes to the math. And I've talked about this on multiple videos before on my channel, where you have both a blended aspect of linear mathematics and probabilistic mathematics. And you always need a blend, right? And it's you can play around with the levers of that blend like in multiple different ways. You can have 99% linear, 1% probabilistic, 1% linear, 99% probabilistic, anywhere in between. You can change the algorithms and change the linear algorithms, change the probabilistic algorithms, etc., right? So you have a ton of play within that, but within that you always need a probabilistic aspect. Like there's something within the system that has to be probabilistic. And then with that requirement brings in unexplainability. Like if it's probabilistic, how do you explain it? And then so that brings this whole catch-22 into that system when it comes to explainable AI. And so that's like a huge problem overall. And what people have been focusing more and more on is this concept right here, this pairwise Shapley values. And I'm very familiar with this. I've run into this a lot recently with like a lot of my recent research and around these things, right? So essentially breaking down what they've discovered and what they lay out here within this Zillow paper, very specifically, and sticking to the Zillow paper very specifically, is that they like utilize Shapley values for distance within like different dimensional spaces in order to create an abstraction of a data layer. So they're like what they have discovered and what I've talked about for a long time now on this channel, if you pay attention, is that like they discover like, well, let's not like actually directly measure the data set, and like we can measure abstractions of the data set, snapshots of the data set at different points, and then it can be the same thing, or it can get to the same results, right? Because we're never going to get 100% anyway. And then so if our baseline gets us to 85% and our abstraction gets us to 84%, like the abstraction is kind of good in that instance, right? If it has advantages to having the abstraction. And then the problem with the abstraction, introducing the abstraction in and of itself, is that by introducing the abstraction, one variable that you know within it, once you do that, the one thing that you know is that it's going to be more computationally expensive to solve the abstraction than to solve the original. Like you know that up front. Like it's like a conservation of energy comes into this equation instantaneously, right? You're not going to get more energy out of it than you put in. So you're making it creating an abstraction. The abstraction is never going to like be like better than the original. unless you modify significantly the abstraction, right? And then therefore it's no longer just an abstraction. And then so that modifies the equation there. But so going into that, we know that we're never going to like hit like 100% accuracy within this, but we can use this abstraction and we can do things with it, and we can measure off of it. We can measure distances. We can do a lot of and all of the same calculations that we could with the actual data set. And that's what they propose here, right? And then in this research paper, and they just propose this explicit single pair, this Shapley value. And then what they find and what they show you within this is like, honestly, so you go down to their benchmarks and they show like these benchmarks aren't great. Right? They show with these benchmarks what I've been talking about. And if you've been paying attention to this channel for a few months, this validates what I talk about all the time, right? That the shape is there. That's what they're doing within their testing here. They're showing, hey, there's a shape here, and we can utilize and we can verify this shape based off of this Shapley value method that we're laying out here. But what we're stumped by, and the researchers here are stumped by at the moment, is that we don't know why our accuracy is the way that it is. It's like across the board, 80%, 53%, 10%. What's going on with this? The shape is there, but we can't pinpoint the shape. Why can't they? Because it's fluid dynamics, right? And then so that's where they end, like flat out. They're like, okay, here's the shape, here's like all of the evidence of the shape, and then the 26 pages, right? Beautiful paper. More and more people are converging on this. I don't need to talk about like the shape of data overall anymore. I don't think, right? Like this. I mean, here's Zillow. Like this is a business organization backing up this concept within this, and then so. The problem is that accuracy, right? So they can make this explainable, but it's their method isn't great. Isn't the best explainable method. There's again sacrificing accuracy. So let's come over here. Here you go, Zillow. This is all MIT licensed. For everyone watching this, this is MIT licensed. Fluid Dynamics Framework for Feature Attribution and Explainable AI. Introduction. We propose a novel adaptation of the pairwise Shapley values, PSV, through the lens of fluid dynamics principles. By treating feature attributions as a fluid system, we introduce new governing variables, specifically viscosity, entropy, and energy conservation, to enhance interpretability, robustness, and efficiency in machine learning explanations. Theoretical foundations. Data as a fluid. We treat data flow through a machine learning model as a compressible fluid system where feature space serves as the domain. Shapley values represent the movement of information through this space. Pairwise reference selection operates as a structured constraint on data flow, similar to viscosity effects in physical systems. Governing variables, viscosity. So this math looks a lot better if you do it out in actual latex. So viscosity defines the resistance of features to change during the attribution. High viscosity features retain their attribution structure, while low viscosity features allow rapid changes. Watch my previous videos directly on these same concepts. Entropy captures the uncertainty in feature attributions, ensuring that pairwise selections maintain structured randomness and energy conservation. Ensures that feature influence follows an additive inverse property, preventing attribution distortions. Shapley method, your original research. The original research proposes pairwise Shapley values, or PSVs, as an improvement to traditional Shapley values. Well done. Traditional Shapley values derived from cooperative game theory attribute a model's output to individual features by averaging overall possible feature combinations. However, this method is computationally intensive and lacks interpretability due to the use of abstract baselines. PSV improves upon this by introducing explicit pairwise comparisons, your method, grounding attributions in human relatable explanations by selecting reference explicants that are similar in feature space. The identified gaps in this method. While PSV enhances interpretability and computational efficiency, it introduces new challenges. Lack of a structured way to control the attribution noise. The selection of reference explicants is still influenced by stochastic processes, leading to instability. Feature independence assumption. PSV does not consider complex feature interactions or dependencies in a structured manner. limited theoretical grounding in mathematical physics. The model lacks a deeper framework to ensure stability, conservation, and efficient distribution of attributions. I'm going to fix that. Fluid-based pairwise Shapley computation. Again, this all looks much better in LaTeX. I'll lay it out for you. Here's the mathematical equation, right? But so computational and implementation. 1. Define viscosity profiles for features using historical attribution variance. 2. Compute entropy-based reference selection dynamically with temperature scaling. And 3. Ensure conservation of attribution energy to maintain interpretability and integrity. So by leveraging fluid dynamics principles, we provide a structured yet adaptable methodology for feature attribution and explainable AI. This approach enhances interpretability, stability, and computational efficiency, paving the way for a more advanced attribution mechanisms. So essentially, we create this class called Fluid Shapley. So we take your Shapley method or the Zillow Shapley method, and then we essentially compute viscosity, entropy weighting, pairwise Shapley, and then we visualize the values. Plain and simple, right? And then you get a very beautiful and explainable Shapley feature attribution graph. Very beautiful. So overall, we propose a novel adaptation of the pairwise Shapley values through the lens of fluid dynamic principles. By treating feature attributions as a fluid system, we introduce the new governing variables of viscosity, entropy, and energy conservation to enhance interpretability, robustness, and efficiency in machine learning explanations. We treat data as fluid as our theoretical foundation. We treat the feature space that serves as a domain. We essentially treat data flow through a machine learning model as a compressible fluid system where feature space serves as the domain. Shapley values represent the movement of information through this space. Thank you. Pairwise references selection operates as a structured constraint on data flow, similar to viscosity effects in physical systems. The governing variables are viscosity, entropy, and energy conservation. We outline our method computationally via viscosity-aware attributions, entropy-driven reference selections, energy conservation, and feature attributions, and the full computational implementation, which I've outlined. So here you go, fluid dynamic framework for feature attribution and explainable AI. It's our derived Shapley method, our fluid Shapley method, based off of the Zillow and Notre Dame research from abstract to explain actionable pairwise Shapley values for explainable AI. Thank you, Zillow. If you like this type of content, please like and subscribe. Thank you very much.